Chapter 1688. Yes, yes. Qin Feiyang nodded, glanced at the blood-colored altar, and shook his head. No, no. Are you playing with me? The fire dragon was furious. No, no, you're so powerful, so majestic. How would I dare to play with you? Qin Feiyang grinned. Then quickly destroy it. The fire dragon roared. Qin Feiyang shook his head and said, Can't destroy it, can't destroy it. Bastard, you're courting death. The fire dragon was furious. A monstrous murderous aura rushed out of his body and pounced on Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang immediately used the Xing character art, turned around and fled. Sure enough, you're playing with this sovereign. Today, even if you can go to heaven or hell, this sovereign will kill you. All beasts listen to my order, kill Qin Feiyang for this sovereign. The fire dragon roared. Roar. In the mountains below, a loud beast roar suddenly sounded. Following closely, fierce beasts and birds flew out from the forest. As big as a mountain, as small as a boulder. There were hundreds of them, and each beast exuded an extremely terrifying divine power. Qin Feiyang's eyes widened, his face full of horror. Surrounded by beasts in all directions, almost all the divine beasts in the entire Dragon Soul mountain range appeared. Hundreds of divine powers intertwined together, like a torrent roaring in all directions, shaking heaven and earth. If I can control so many divine beasts, then who in the world will dare to compete with me? Qin Feiyang looked at this scene and couldn't help but be fascinated. Kill him for this sovereign. The fire dragon roared. Boom. Divine power surged, covering the sky and earth. More than 100 divine beasts rushed toward Qin Feiyang. The terrifying scene was soul-stirring. Stop. But at this moment, a deafening voice sounded. The fire dragon raised his eyebrows, looked up, and saw the fire python appear out of thin air. The fire dragon's eyes suddenly flashed with a cold light. You're out already? Qin Feiyang was stunned. The ferocious beast stopped and looked at the fire python with suspicion. The fire python glanced at the other beasts, then looked at the fire dragon and said, Lord Beast Deity orders you to go to the 3rd level immediately to see it. There must be no delay. The fire dragon's pupils shrank. Hurry up and go. The fire python shouted. The fire dragon asked, Lord Beast God didn't come out with you? Nonsense. If my lord came out with us, why would he need you to go to the 3rd level? What is it? Don't tell me you still want to disobey His Excellency's orders? The fire python said angrily. The fire dragon's eyes trembled. He looked at the surrounding beasts and roared. The fire python is in cahoots with Qin Feiyang. It's falsifying the imperial edict. Kill them quickly. How dare you? The fire python was enraged. The impudent one is you. How dare you falsify the beast god's order and collude with Qin Feiyang? This is unforgivable. See how this lord will kill you. The fire dragon roared and used rule force to kill the fire python. However, after waiting for a long time, rule force didn't appear. What was going on? It was immediately surprised. You only found out now? The fire python smiled coldly. Rule force emerged from its body, and the surrounding void continued to collapse and shatter. How is this possible? The fire dragon's eyes widened in anger. The fire python sneered. Lord Beast God has already removed your position as the guardian, and this emperor will temporarily replace you. This is impossible. The fire dragon shook its head. The fire python shouted, You beast, you killed this emperor's father and blasphemed Lord Beast God's prestige. Kneel down immediately. The fire dragon's body trembled. Didn't you hear it? Do you need this emperor to repeat it again? The fire python shouted, controlling rule force, and rushed toward the fire dragon. The fire dragon hurriedly crawled on the ground and respectfully said, Greetings, Lord Guardian. In its heart, it was extremely unwilling. How long had it been? And it was removed from the position of guardian. The fire python looked coldly at the fire dragon and said, You didn't expect it, right? You fell into this emperor's hands so quickly. The fire dragon's expression was extremely ugly. You damn beast. My father was so good to you and saved your life time and time again. How can you be so ruthless as to kill him? The fire python said angrily. The fire dragon snorted from its nose and said, This sovereign only hates that I didn't kill you with my own hands at that time. That's right. If you had directly killed this emperor on the first floor, then all of this wouldn't have happened. Unfortunately, your stupidity, your arrogance, you killed yourself. All beasts listen up. The fire dragon disobeyed Lord Beast God's orders and refused to go to the third floor. Immediately surround it and kill it on the spot. The fire python shouted. Yes. The hundreds of divine beasts immediately surrounded the fire dragon. The fire dragon's expression changed and hurriedly said, "Who said this sovereign disobeyed Lord's orders? This sovereign will go to the third floor now." With that, it immediately flew towards the altar. More than 10 ferocious beasts stood in front of it, blocking its path. Scram! The fire dragon said angrily. The dozen fierce beasts instinctively felt fear and looked up at the fire python. After all, the fire dragon was at the peak stage of cultivation. Even if it lost its guardian status, it could still easily kill them. The fire python's expression was uncertain. In the end, it sighed helplessly and said, "Let it go." At this time, only then did the dozen fierce beasts retreat to the side. The fire dragon looked coldly at Qin Feiyang and the fire python, then flew across the sky and landed next to the altar, quickly reviving it. After the fire dragon left, the fire python swept its gaze towards the fierce beasts and said, "Qin Feiyang is this emperor's friend. In the future, when you see him, you are not allowed to hurt him. Disperse." Yes. All the beasts responded respectfully and disappeared into the forest. The fire python exhaled and landed in front of Qin Feiyang. It asked with concern, "Are you okay?" "No." Qin Feiyang shook his head, cupped his hands and smiled. "Congratulations. This is all thanks to you. Without your help, not to mention becoming the guardian of the miracle, I might not even be able to keep my life." The fire python laughed. Qin Feiyang smiled and asked suspiciously, "Why didn't you kill the fire dragon just now?" Although the fire dragon was stronger than the fire python, now that the fire python had become a guardian and controlled the power of law, it would be easy to kill the fire dragon. The fire python sighed and said, "Why wouldn't this emperor want to kill it? But Lord Beast God wants to see it. If this emperor kills it, I'm afraid it will anger Lord Beast God." Qin Feiyang nodded and asked, "Why does the small beast want to see it?" "I don't know." The fire python shook its head and said, "And your ancestor, this emperor can't do anything about it." "Why?" Qin Feiyang didn't understand. "When this emperor entered the third floor, I directly appeared in a hall. Lord Beast God is in the hall. After this emperor reported the cause of father's death, it took out something like a crystal and inserted a strand of this emperor's divine sense into it, sending this emperor out." The fire python said. Qin Feiyang asked, "What's outside the hall?" "The doors and windows of the hall are all closed. I didn't see anything." The fire python shook its head. "In other words, you don't know what the third floor is like?" Qin Feiyang frowned. "Yes." The fire python nodded. Qin Feiyang was silent for a long time and sighed. "Fine, when I have the chance, I'll go in and take a look myself." "Don't go in." The fire python hurriedly said. "Why?" Qin Feiyang was surprised. The fire python said, "You also know that this third floor can only be entered but not exited. Lord Beast God's attitude towards you is also unclear. If you go in, I'm afraid you'll die." "I know. For now I won't go in." Qin Feiyang smiled. "That's good." The fire python sighed in relief. Qin Feiyang said, "Just now, you said that the small beast took out a crystal and merged it with a strand of your divine sense. Why is that?" This emperor didn't understand at first, but after asking, I found out that as long as I merged my divine sense into the crystal, I would be able to control the power of laws. The fire python said, "So magical? What kind of crystal is it?" Qin Feiyang was curious. The fire python thought for a while, and its divine power surged. A crystal the size of an adult's palm immediately appeared in the void in front of it. This? Qin Feiyang was dumbfounded. This crystal was exactly the same as the heart of the origin of the black tortoise world. "Do you know what this is?" the fire python asked. "Don't you know?" Qin Feiyang asked. "This emperor has asked, but Lord Beast God didn't say." The fire python said, "This is the heart of origin. If I'm not wrong, This should be the heart of origin of the miracle. In other words, this miracle is also an independent world. Qin Feiyang said. I see. The fire python nodded in realization. By the way, after you reported the cause of your father's death to the small beast, why didn't it confront the fire dragon? You have to know that you don't have any evidence. Qin Feiyang was suspicious. The fire python said with a smile. Lord Beast God's means are heaven-defying. There's no need to confront the fire dragon. What do you mean? Qin Feiyang said. The fire python said. It can reverse time and see what happened in the past. What? Reverse time? Qin Feiyang was shocked. Yes. After this emperor reported it, it just waved its hand, and everything that happened when my father died was all revealed. The fire python said. So powerful. Qin Feiyang was shocked. Yes. This is the first time in my life that I've seen such a terrifying method. That's why this emperor advised you not to enter the third level. If Lord Beast God wants to harm you, wouldn't you be walking into a trap? The fire python said. As you said, if it really wanted to harm me, with its means, I would have died long ago. Qin Feiyang sighed. He didn't expect that this small beast was so terrifying. How could he take back Chang Shui in the future? The fire python asked. What are your plans now? Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and said, Can you sense the location of the ancient world now? This emperor will try. After saying that, the fire python closed its eyes and extended its perception infinitely. After a while, it opened its eyes, and there was a hint of a smile in its eyes. It looked at Qin Feiyang and said, This emperor already knows where the ancient world is. Really? Qin Feiyang was pleasantly surprised. Yes. The fire python nodded. Qin Feiyang said, Then let's go to the castle now. This emperor can't go. The fire python shook its head. You can't go. Qin Feiyang was slightly stunned and asked in confusion, Why not? Blood for blood. This emperor wants to stay here and wait for the fire dragon. The fire python said word by word, its eyes full of killing intent. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded and said with a smile. Then let's go to the passage of the first level first, and see if my companions have come. Yes. The fire python nodded, and a supreme force emerged out of thin air. The man and the beast disappeared without a trace. Chapter 1689. On the first floor at the passageway, Yen Wei and the other three had been staring at the water source. In the past few days, many state preceptors and people from the main tower had come here. But without exception, they all died under the claws of the griffin. But to Yen Wei's regret, no one from the Mu family showed up. Wang Zicheng frowned and said, Do you think the Mu family is all dead? Maybe. Yen Wei nodded. So there are still 4 little ants hiding here. Suddenly, behind the 4, there was a sinister laugh. Oh no. The 4 of them knew something was wrong, and quickly turned their heads to look. They saw the griffin standing a few feet behind them with a fierce look in its eyes. How did you find this place? Yen Wei was surprised. I always felt that there was the smell of humans nearby, so I secretly looked for it. And I really found you. Tell me, how do you want to die? The griffin laughed, revealing a mouthful of white fangs. Run! Yen Wei shouted. Boom! A monstrous pressure erupted, and the 4 of them were immediately imprisoned. He said, You want to escape in front of me? Are you dreaming? My lord, we didn't provoke you. Why do you want to kill us? Yen Wei hurriedly said. You didn't provoke me. However, the guardian has ordered that as long as a human appears, none shall be spared. All shall be killed. So seriously, it's not me who wants to kill you. It's the guardian who wants to kill you. The griffin laughed and opened its bloody mouth. Whoosh! At the same time, above the water source, a man and a beast appeared out of thin air. It was Qin Feiyang and the griffin. What a terrifying power. Qin Feiyang immediately sensed the griffin's aura, and quickly looked over. When he saw Yen Wei and the other 3, his face suddenly changed. He quickly pointed to Yen Wei and the other 3 and said, Fire Python, they are my companions. Stop the griffin. The fire python looked over and shouted, Griffin, stop right there. The griffin was stunned and raised its head to look at the fire python. Yen Wei and the other 3 were also stunned. They looked over suspiciously. When they saw Qin Feiyang, Ecstasy crawled up their faces. Wang Zicheng shouted, "Young master, quickly save us." The flame python brought Qin Feiyang down to the peak of the mountain. Qin Feiyang said, "Don't be afraid, I'm here." Fire python? The griffin glanced at the fire python, and then at Qin Feiyang. He said angrily, "Fire python, why are you colluding with humans? How dare you?" The fire python coldly shouted, Yo, so arrogant? Kid, don't tell me you think you're still the child of a guardian." The griffin sneered. The fire python said, "This emperor is indeed no longer the guardian's child. Then why are you so arrogant? Do you believe that I will destroy you right now?" The griffin said, "Kill me." The fire python smiled proudly as rule force descended from the sky. "What? This is rule force? How can you control rule force?" The griffin was stunned and said in shock and anger, "This emperor is indeed no longer the guardian's child. But now, this emperor is the guardian." The fire python said proudly, "You're the guardian? How is that possible? Isn't the guardian now the fire dragon?" The griffin said. The fire python said, "The fire dragon has been abolished by Lord Beast God." Abolished? The griffin's body trembled as he hurriedly prostrated himself on the ground and said respectfully, "Greetings, Lord Guardian." "Greetings, Lord." Yen Wei and the other three also quickly bowed. However, they were puzzled. How did this young master get together with the guardian? The fire python looked at Yen Wei and the other three and said with a smile, "You're Qin Feiyang's friends, so you're also my friends. There's no need to be so polite." "Yes." The four responded respectfully. The fire python looked at the griffin and said, "Griffin, how should you be punished?" The griffin hurriedly said, "My lord, I didn't know these humans were your friends. Please forgive me." The fire python said, "Since it's your first offense, I won't pursue the matter. Go back and guard the passage well. In addition, if Qin Feiyang wants to enter the second level in the future, don't stop him." "Yes." The griffin nodded, then flew toward the stone door with his tail between his legs. Qin Feiyang looked at the fire python and said with a smile, "Thank you." The fire python said, "Thank you is too much between us." "Young master, Lord Guardian, what are you doing?" Yen Wei looked at Qin Feiyang and the fire python suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said, "It's a long story. I'll tell you slowly in the future." Yen Wei nodded and stepped aside. The fire python closed its eyes and sensed. After a while, it took the group of people and appeared in the sky above a desolate plain. The plain was vast and boundless, and there was a group of poisonous scorpions living there. There were no less than 1,000,000 of them. But at this moment, these poisonous scorpions presented a strange scene. They were all crawling on the ground, divided into two halves and made a path. But the point was that there were no living creatures on the path. "What's going on? What are they afraid of?" Yen Wei said in surprise. Qin Feiyang glanced at Yen Wei, then looked at the fire python and said with a smile, "At first, I didn't believe it, but I didn't expect it to be true. Yes, this is the first time I've seen it with my own eyes." The fire python said, "Young master, Lord Guardian, what are you talking about?" Yen Wei said. Qin Feiyang said with a smile, "Wherever the ancient world goes, all living creatures will instinctively feel fear and make way." Ancient world? Yen Wei and the other three looked at each other. What was this? Qin Feiyang didn't explain. He looked at the fire python and said, "Brother Fire, I'll have to trouble you." The fire python smiled and led Qin Feiyang and the others to land on the path. The scorpions on both sides suddenly became restless. The fire python shouted, "I'm the guardian of the miracle, don't be rash." Hearing this, the scorpions immediately became obedient. Boom! Following closely, the fire python's divine power emerged, forming a wall of fire, lying on the path. Boom! Soon, as if something had hit the wall of fire shook slightly. Immediately, an ancient stone door appeared in the void. This, Yen Wei and the other three were dumbfounded. There was clearly nothing in the void, but a stone door appeared out of thin air? To hell with it. The fire python said, "Brother Qin, the entrance to the ancient world has appeared, hurry up and go in." "Okay." Qin Feiyang nodded. The fire python said again, "In addition, this may be the last time I help you." Qin Feiyang was stunned, looked at the fire python and said, "What do you mean? Now that Lord Beast God's attitude is unknown, I really don't dare to get too close to you. I hope you can understand." The fire python said, "So that's how it is." Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and nodded with a smile. "It's okay. After all, small beast is too strong. You should keep a distance from me." After saying that, Qin Feiyang thought for a while and added, "If one day, you and I become enemies, I hope Brother Fire can be merciful." The fire python sighed. "If that day really comes, being merciful is just empty talk. The ending will be a fight to the death." Qin Feiyang fell silent. The fire python also fell silent. "Don't think about it. Maybe one day, when Lord Beast God is in a good mood, he will change his mind." The fire python shook its head and laughed. "That's true." Qin Feiyang nodded with a smile and said, "But no matter what the result is, to be able to make a friend like you is the fortune of my life for me, Qin Feiyang. To be able to make a friend like you is also the fortune of my life." The fire python said, "Thank you. Goodbye." Qin Feiyang cupped his hands and said, "Take care." The fire python said. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and waved, "Let's go." After saying that, he took the lead and stepped into the stone door. Yen Wei and the other three looked at each other, bowed to the fire python, and hurriedly followed in. When the five disappeared, the stone door also disappeared. The fire python dispersed the wall of fire, looked up at the sky and muttered, "Friend, is this the feeling?" Swish! The next moment, it also disappeared into thin air without a trace. The ancient world floated aimlessly in the void again. In a square, Qin Feiyang and the other four stood side by side. The square was about 300 meters in size and was extremely dilapidated. Behind them stood a stone door. It was more than 100 feet tall. This was the entrance to the ancient world. But the stone door was also extremely tattered, as if it would collapse when the wind blew. All around, the ground stretched as far as the eye could see, and it was riddled with holes and dilapidated walls. Not a single living being could be seen here, and it was suffused with an aura of decay, misery, and despair. In the sky, dark clouds covered the entire ancient world, causing it to fall into a gloomy state. "This is the ancient world," Qin Feiyang murmured. The environment here was even worse than the first level of the miracle. Although there were 10 suns in the first level, and although it was also lacking in essence chi, at least they could see sunlight. And here, the dull atmosphere and the aura of despair made people feel depressed. And the essence chi here could not be described as lacking. It was completely absent. This was a dangerous place filled with the aura of death. Yen Wei asked in surprise, "Young master, what is this place?" Qin Feiyang said, "It's an ancient continent, the ancient world." "An ancient continent?" The four of them looked at each other in disbelief. Wang Ziqing asked suspiciously, "Then what are we doing here?" "Don't be fooled by the fact that this place is dilapidated. There are many great fortunes hidden here. And Mu Tianyang and the others are also here." Qin Feiyang said, "Mu Tianyang and the others are here?" The four of them were surprised. "Yes. But that's only secondary. The main reason I'm here is because of my ancestor," Qin Feiyang said. "The Qin Emperor?" Gongsun Bei was stunned and asked, "Is your ancestor also here?" "My ancestor is not here, but he once inquired about this place. I think there should be some kind of mystery hidden here," Qin Feiyang said. "If even the Qin Emperor has inquired about this place, then this place must not be simple." Gongsun Bei looked around, his eyes full of expectation. "Who is it?" Suddenly, Qin Feiyang abruptly turned his head and shouted as he looked towards the ruins on his left. The ruins were 100 miles away from where they were. The dilapidated walls and broken buildings were enough to show that it was once a town. "Is anyone there?" Gongsun Bei and the others looked in the direction, but they did not see or hear anything. Chapter 1690, Barbarian Bull said, "Young master, did you see wrongly?" "Nope. I saw a black shadow with my own eyes just now," Qin Feiyang said. Boom! His divine sense surged out, covering the sky and covering the earth as it rushed towards the ruins. "What? This is divine consciousness. Young master, you have broken through to the false god realm?" Yanwei was surprised. Gong Sunbei and the other two were also in disbelief. Yes. Many things have happened in the past 2 years. I will tell you later. Qin Feiyang nodded. Yanwei, Wang Zicheng, and the other two were overjoyed. Gong Sunbei, on the other hand, was shocked. He remembered that Qin Feiyang was only a 4-star combat emperor when he entered the divine ruin. However, he had reached the false god realm in less than 2 years. This speed was too terrifying. At the same time, in the ruins, behind a broken stone wall, a middle-aged man was hiding. He was dressed in black and was holding his breath. His expression was filled with nervousness. Suddenly, a divine consciousness surged. The man in black was shocked. It was divine consciousness. Why are you hiding here? Without waiting for black costume burly man to regain his senses, an ice-cold voice rang out above his head. The man in black quickly looked up, and his face turned pale. The person who appeared above him was Qin Feiyang. The man in black jumped up and retreated in panic. He asked, "Is this divine consciousness yours?" "Yes. It seems that you know me. Who are you? Why are you acting so sneakily?" Qin Feiyang shouted as his divine might surged. The man in black was a peak 9-star combat emperor. However, he was as small as an ant under the divine consciousness of a false god. He was immediately imprisoned. "There is really someone here?" Gong Sunbei and the other 3 rushed over and looked at the man in black in shock. The man in black looked at Gong Sunbei and said angrily, "Gong Sunbei, you are from the main tower. Why are you with Qin Feiyang?" "You actually know me?" Gong Sunbei was surprised. Qin Feiyang said, "Not only does he know you, he also knows me." Gong Sunbei was stunned and said, "Then he must have come in from outside like us." Qin Feiyang looked at the man in black and asked, "Are you from the Mujia?" "No." The man in black shook his head. "No." The corners of Qin Feiyang's mouth lifted as he landed in the black-robed man's hand. He said, "Since you know me, you should know my methods." The black-clothed man's pupils constricted. His face was filled with fear. Qin Feiyang said, "Tell me the truth. I'll leave your corpse intact." "I don't know anything." The man in black shook his head. "You're quite stubborn. However, do you think that I can't do anything to you if you don't tell me?" Qin Feiyang smiled coldly and formed a seal with both hands. In that instant, an imprint of the puppet technique appeared. Puppet technique. The black-clothed man's eyes trembled. Puppet technique? Yen Wei and the others looked at each other and suspiciously looked at the puppet imprint. "You know about puppet technique?" Qin Feiyang was surprised. Not only did he know him and Gong Sunbei, but he also knew about puppet technique. "Since you know about puppet technique, you should know what will happen if you're controlled by it." Qin Feiyang smiled. However, in the eyes of the black-clothed man, it was like a demon's smile. His body couldn't help but tremble as he nodded. "I'll tell you," Qin Feiyang said. "Then tell me." The black-clothed man asked carefully, "If I tell you, can you let me go?" Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed with killing intent. The black-clothed man couldn't help but feel a chill. He hurriedly said, "I'm from the Nether Hall." "The Nether Hall?" "Gong Sunbei has never entered the Black Tortoise world." "How do you know him?" Qin Feiyang said, "Someone called Mu Qing told me. It's not just Gong Sunbei. He told everyone who came to the divine site this time, as long as they had some status." The black-clothed man said, "So it's him." Qin Feiyang understood and asked, "Where is Mu Qing now?" The black-clothed man said, "He's with Mu Tianyang. He should be in Mu Tianyang's spatial divine item." "Then what are you doing here?" Qin Feiyang asked. "I'm here on the orders of the Palace Lord to monitor the entrance, because the Palace Lord and the Heavenly Sun Empire's Emperor are worried that you might enter the ancient world." The black-clothed man said, "You guys are really considerate. However, you didn't expect me to have already reached the false god realm." Qin Feiyang sneered. "I didn't expect it at all." The black-clothed man shook his head and smiled bitterly. Qin Feiyang said, "Where are the main forces of the Nether Hall and the Heavenly Sun Empire now?" "The Nether Hall and the Heavenly Sun Empire are together now. They're not too far from here," the black-clothed man said vaguely. "Speak clearly," Qin Feiyang shouted. The black-clothed man hurriedly said, "They're in a dilapidated ancient city in the northwest." It's more than 30,000 miles away from here. Qin Feiyang looked at the northwest and said, apart from the Nether Hall and the Heavenly Sun Empire, who else is there? There are also people from the Mu clan. About 3 months ago, the fire dragon sent a group of people here. It's said that they're all Mu Tianyang's descendants. The black-clothed man said. 3 months ago, Qin Feiyang murmured. That made perfect sense. After the fire dragon killed the giant python, he helped find the people from the Mu clan and sent them here. Then, he went to find the small beast and reported the death of the giant python. I was wondering why I didn't see anyone from the Mu clan in the passage. It turns out that they were all sent to the ancient world. When Yan Wei and the others heard this, they finally understood. Plop! The black-clothed man suddenly knelt on the ground and begged. My lord, this little one is only following orders. Please spare this little one's life. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and a strand of false god energy entered the man's forehead, tearing his knowledge sea and shattering his soul. With a bang, the man fell to the ground and died. Young master, the Nether Hall, the Black Tortoise World, and your puppet technique, what are they? Yan Wei asked. Gongsun Bei and Wang Zicheng were also puzzled. The Black Tortoise World is the same as the ancient world. It's an independent world in the divine ruins. The Nether Hall is a force in the Black Tortoise World. Qin Feiyang smiled, then looked at Gongsun Bei and said, the Nether Hall has some connections with your main tower. What connections? Gongsun Bei was puzzled. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, before your main tower unified the Forgotten Continent, the Nether Hall ruled the Forgotten Continent. This, Gongsun Bei was stunned. I'll take you to a place. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and brought the four to the Black Tortoise World. Where is this? The four of them looked at the mountains and rivers in front of them, their eyes full of shock. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, this is the Black Tortoise World. I'm now the master of the Black Tortoise World. The master of the Black Tortoise World? Yan Wei was stunned and urged, young master, quickly tell us. Okay. Qin Feiyang nodded. He told them everything that happened after entering the Black Tortoise World, as well as the structure of the Black Tortoise World, including his acquaintance with the fire python, his grudge with the fire dragon, and the small beast. So that's how it is. Hearing this, the four of them nodded in understanding. At the same time, they were also in disbelief. They never thought that Qin Feiyang would experience so much after coming to the divine ruins. Then what about Chang Shui? The small beast is so strong. It's almost impossible to snatch it back from its hands. Yan Wei said. There's always a way. There's always a way. Qin Feiyang smiled and looked at Gongsun Bei. He said, how did you two end up together? It's like this. That day, I saw the words you left behind. Yan Wei also gave a brief account of what had happened during this period of time. Well done. Qin Feiyang patted Yan Wei's shoulder and was very pleased. Then he looked at Gongsun Bei and smiled. Welcome to the team. Thank you. Gongsun Bei smiled and reached out to shake Qin Feiyang's hand tightly. Wang Zicheng looked at Qin Feiyang and said, young master, there's one more thing. What's the good news? Qin Feiyang asked with a smile. Gongsun Bei's joining put him in a good mood. Wang Zicheng lowered his head and sighed. It's about the black monkey and the others. The black monkey and the others? Qin Feiyang was stunned. I wouldn't have thought of it if you didn't mention it. Where's the black monkey and the others? Aren't they with you? Yan Wei, Wang Zicheng and Barbarian Bull all lowered their heads. Qin Feiyang looked at the three people, and his expression gradually sank. He frowned and said, speak, what's going on? Gongsun Bei sighed deeply and looked at the three. Then he looked at Qin Feiyang and said, let me tell you, they're dead. What? Qin Feiyang's body trembled. He almost fainted. Looking at Yan Wei and the others, he shouted, tell me, how did they die? Yan Wei said, the Mu family did it. The three of them immediately recounted the matter in full detail. Damn it. Qin Feiyang was seething with anger. Wang Zicheng took out a box of ashes and handed it to Qin Feiyang. These are their ashes. Qin Feiyang took the jade box and opened it. Looking at the ashes inside, his eyes were full of sorrow. The scenes of the past surfaced in his mind like a tide. The Mu family. I swear I won't be a man if I don't take revenge. No one from the Mu family will leave this place alive. Qin Feiyong gritted his teeth and said word by word. After that, he handed the jade box to Wang Zicheng. Take good care of them. We must let them return to their roots. Yes. Wang Zicheng took the box and nodded respectfully. Barbarian Bull said, Young master, there's one more thing. The queen hasn't been found yet. You didn't find her, but I found her. She's now in the castle. Qin Feiyong said. That's good. Barbarian Bull breathed a sigh of relief and asked. What about Viper and Dan Wangkai? Qin Feiyong said. They're also in the castle. You should also go there to cultivate. I guess you don't know that the castle is different from before. Different? The two looked at each other and looked at Qin Feiyong suspiciously. After the first seal was undone, a time array appeared, Yi Zichen said. The time formation can change the time inside the castle. 1 day outside is 10 days inside the castle. In other words, 10 days inside the castle is only 1 day outside. Qin Feiyong said. Damn, there's such a thing. Wang Zicheng and Barbarian Bull looked at each other. Gongsun Bei was also surprised. He had only just found out about this matter. Qin Feiyong said. Are you surprised? Nonsense. If we knew this earlier, we wouldn't have gone undercover in the main tower. Young master, you're too bad. Such a good thing. And you didn't tell us until now. Viper and Dan Wangkai, those two bastards, must be a few streets ahead of us now. Wang Zicheng and Barbarian Bull were very dissatisfied. Qin Feiyong smiled helplessly and said. The last sentence is true. You two can't catch up with their cultivation now. That's not fair. Wang Zicheng snorted. Okay. You two are big men. Why are you so calculative? Besides, haven't you returned to my side now? Qin Feiyong rolled his eyes at the two and looked at Yin Wei. You've worked hard these years. It's what I should do. Yin Wei smiled. Qin Feiyong smiled. The first time, it helped us hold back Mu Tianyang. This time it gave us an 8th grade pill furnace. This little leopard is quite fated with us. Qin Feiyong shook his head and smiled. Hearing this, Zhao Tailai and the others looked at each other, and their expressions changed. What's wrong? Qin Feiyong looked at them. Zhao Tailai asked. Young master, do you really think you're fated with it? Yes. Qin Feiyong nodded and asked suspiciously. Is there a problem? Zhao Tailai chuckled and said. To tell you the truth, I want to subdue it as a mount. Qin Feiyong was stunned and said. This is a good thing. You've already broken through to the war god realm. If you have a divine beast as a mount, it'll be like adding wings to a tiger. Zhao Tailai smiled and said. I'm afraid you won't agree. Why wouldn't I agree to such a good thing? Qin Feiyong was speechless. Zhao Tailai said. Didn't you say that we shouldn't destroy the balance here? Let everything develop naturally. Qin Feiyong shook his head and said. What I meant was not to disturb people's lives. I didn't say you can't look for a mount. I see. Then can we also look for a mount? Willow Tree looked at Qin Feiyong and asked. The 6 elders, Cui Li and Li Jian's eyes also lit up. You guys? Qin Feiyong glanced at them and pondered for a while, then shook his head and said, You guys can't. Why? Willow Tree and the others looked at Qin Feiyong in confusion. Why can old Zhao and they can't? Because you're not strong enough. I have to set a rule. Only those who have broken through to the war god realm are allowed to look for divine beast mounts. Qin Feiyong said. This? Willow Tree and the others raised their eyebrows. There aren't many divine beasts in the Black Tortoise realm. If everyone around me wants a mount, how can there be enough? Qin Feiyong said. I understand. This is a kind of incentive for everyone to work hard. Zhao Tailai smiled. That's right. That's what I mean. There are strong and weak divine beasts too. Whoever breaks through to the war god realm first has the right to choose. Of course. I won't help. Whether or not you can subdue the other party depends on your own ability. Qin Feiyong smiled. So that's how it is. Willow Tree and the others mumbled. They all swore in their hearts that they would break through to the war god realm first. Qin Feiyong waved his hand and let everyone into the castle. Looking at Yu Wang, Zhao Tailai, and the others, Gongsun Bei and Yin Wei were extremely shocked. 1 war god, 9 quasi-divinities and 1 quasi-divinity beast. What a terrifying lineup. They never thought that Qin Feiyang would be able to subdue so many terrifying existences in such a short time. Dan Wangkai, time to work. Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the black dragon cauldron and a few Qingquan bags appeared in front of Dan Wangkai. An 8th grade cauldron. Dan Wangkai was very excited. Qin Feiyang steadied his footsteps and looked up. He was instantly shocked. He saw a middle-aged man standing in the void opposite him. He was 7 feet tall and had a strong body. He wore a golden robe with a 5-clawed golden dragon embroidered on it. His thick black hair fluttered in the void like an emperor, and his entire body exuded a shocking aura. Qin Feiyang was shocked. It was actually his real body. Could it be that Mu Tianyang had already condensed his divine sense? You must be very surprised. That's right. After entering the Heavenly Sun Empire of the Black Tortoise world, I obtained a large number of divine congealing pills. And after entering the ancient world, the giant python personally helped me condense my divine sense. In addition, my spatial divine item also has a time array, so now, I have almost condensed my divine sense. Mu Tianyang said. Almost. In other words, you haven't condensed your divine sense yet. Qin Feiyang frowned. Just one step away. When my face appears, it means that my divine sense has been completely condensed. However, even if I haven't condensed my divine sense yet, my strength is no longer comparable to a false god like you. Mu Tianyang said proudly. Qin Feiyang looked at Mu Tianyang's face. His face was indeed only a vague outline. If his face was removed, Mu Tianyang was now a living person. It's not something a false god like me can compare to, Qin Feiyang murmured. Then I'd like to see how strong you are. Boom! The battle formula was activated. He took a step forward, and the power of a false god roared in all directions as he charged towards Mu Tianyang. Since you want to know, then I'll let you experience it. Mu Tianyang smiled coldly and didn't dodge. He stepped forward and punched Qin Feiyang. Boom! Accompanied by a deafening sound, Mu Tianyang's real body immediately dissipated. He even destroyed 3 strands of divine sense. On the other hand, Qin Feiyang. At this moment, he was like a mountain, standing firmly in the void motionless. So that's all there is to it. Qin Feiyang's face was full of disdain. The battle formula not only gave him an amazing defense, but it also reduced half of Mu Tianyang's attack power. Mu Tianyang condensed his real body again, stared at Qin Feiyang, and said word by word. 6-word formula, battle formula. Good eye. If you had already condensed your divine sense, I might have retreated. But unfortunately, your divine sense is still 1 step away. And it is also this step that will cause your body and soul to be destroyed today. Qin Feiyang let out a loud shout as his aura surged like a rainbow. A purple-gold dragon roared out. Roar! A world-destroying sound wave flooded the sky like a torrent of beasts, pouncing towards Mu Tianyang. The second move of the Divine Dragon formula, Divine Dragon Roar. Mu Tianyang's heart was heavy. This time he was indeed too careless. Was Qin Feiyang an ordinary person? Chapter 1698. What's going on? Zhao Tailai was stunned. This seems to be rejuvenation. Qin Feiyang was suspicious. Rejuvenation. Zhao Tailai was slightly stunned and puzzled. Is this the power of the law? Even if it is, it doesn't seem to be scary. Idiot. Rejuvenation. This is one of the power of the law, time reversal. Qin Feiyang suddenly thought of a mysterious voice in his mind. Qin Feiyang was stunned and said to himself, who exactly are you? He had heard this voice before. Last time when he fought with the main tower, this mysterious voice appeared. At that time, this person told him that his destiny was to fight with heaven, earth, and the rules of this world. He also said that he was waiting for him to work hard to grow. Because this was too strange, Qin Feiyang had always remembered this voice. Unexpectedly, this mysterious voice appeared again. Don't worry about who I am. Time reversal is not to rejuvenate you, but to bring you step by step to your death. Didn't you notice? Your current cultivation is also beginning to regress. The mysterious voice said. Cultivation regress. Qin Feiyang was stunned and quickly sensed his own cultivation. At that moment, his face changed dramatically. Sure enough, as the mysterious voice said, his cultivation was quietly retreating. Looking at Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai, it was the same. Age, cultivation. They will continue to regress with the power of the law, until finally, you will return to a newborn baby, and then completely disappear from the world. This is time reversal. The mysterious voice said. Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled and said anxiously, "Then is there any way to break it?" "The way is by your side. Hurry up and work hard, I'm waiting for you to grow." After the mysterious voice finished speaking, it was depressed and never sounded again. He said this again? Qin Feiyang frowned. Last time, the last sentence that the mysterious person said was to hurry up and work hard. I'm waiting for you to grow. This time it was again. What was the relationship between this mysterious person and him? Why was he waiting for him? Why was she waiting for him? He didn't have time to think about it. He glanced around and pondered the mysterious man's words. The way to break the time reversal was right beside him. Suddenly, he raised his head and looked at the castle, his eyes flashing. That was right. It must be the castle. Time reversed, time stood still. Yes. It was the castle. It was as if he was suddenly enlightened. The Bloodblade's power of law was to reverse time, while the ancient castle's power of law was to stop time. Once time came to a standstill, time could no longer be reversed, and Bloodblade's power of laws would collapse on its own. "Castle, please." In the blink of an eye, Qin Feiyang hurriedly exclaimed. Clang! The ancient castle trembled in the void, releasing a deafening sound. Following closely, waves of invisible energy gushed out. Qin Feiyang looked at the black light, his eyes full of surprise. Tang Hai also came back to his senses. His figure flickered, and in a few breaths, he caught up with the black light with the dagger and the netherworld sword. Divine power surged and turned into a cage, imprisoning the black light inside. Boom! The black light frantically bombarded the cage. The cage was distorted. Seeing that it was about to break, Tang Hai controlled the netherworld sword and the dagger, and said, "If you dare to move again, I will destroy your soul." The black light immediately became obedient, floating in the cage, constantly trembling. It seemed to be trembling because of fear. Qin Feiyang put away the ancient castle and rushed to Tang Hai's side. Looking at the black light, his brows furrowed. Tang Hai said, "Young master, it should be the artifact spirit of that artifact." "No." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "What do you mean?" Tang Hai was stunned and looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. Qin Feiyang pondered and said, "Its aura is somewhat familiar." "Familiar?" Tang Hai frowned. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled and said, "It's an undead." "Undead?" Tang Hai was shocked. "Yes. The aura it emits is exactly the same as the undead in the desert of the Undead Mountain Range." Qin Feiyang said. "Undead?" Tang Hai looked up at the black light, his eyes full of disbelief. Qin Feiyang walked to the front of the cage, looked at the undead inside and said, "I will ask you a few questions. As long as you answer me honestly, I will let you live." The undead seemed to understand Qin Feiyang's words, and turned into a blurry black shadow. Although the appearance could not be seen clearly from the outline, it should be a woman, because the outline of its waist was very slender. There were also 2 bulges on its chest. Qin Feiyang said, "After we entered the city, you repeatedly made sounds. Are you warning us not to approach this hall?" The undead was silent for a while and nodded. "Why did you stop us?" "In the hall. There doesn't seem to be anything that interests us," Qin Feiyang said. Hearing this, the undead did not have any reaction. "Speak," Tang Hai shouted, full of murderous intent. But the undead was still indifferent. "You're courting death." Tang Hai waved his hand, and the sword and dagger suddenly fell. "Don't do it first."